What's going on, buddy? Welcome back. Welcome to the 29th of January. Another day synonymous with a disaster in the cryptocurrency market. A little bit like my life at the minute, but yeah, it's not a good day. Now, I want to talk about why. We'll try and understand why, because it doesn't really make any sense. And as much as I've seen people putting videos out today, and they're like, why the market crashed? And actually, it's full of nonsense. No one actually really knows. So we're going to try and dive a little bit to understand why has this happened, like what's gone on. And by the way, this isn't just some random retail sell-off. Like, this is very deliberate. I think there's a bit more here. And I know I come on here quite a lot of the times and we put our tinfoil hats on and I'm like, oh, I think there's something else in it, but it doesn't feel right. And people go, well, 2 bits the bear market and we all knew it was coming and you're bullish 24/7 and da-da-da. This is why. It doesn't make sense, right? I don't care if people tell me I'm wrong. I don't care if people tell me that I'm absolutely miles off. Something doesn't make sense here. And it's because it's broader across the entire equities market, earnings calls, everything, right? It is a nuclear dump across every single asset. I would be very interested to know what the total amount of capital that's either lost or gone into a negative across every investment platform, i.e. equities, derivatives, stocks, crypto, ETFs, all of that. Like, I'd be dead curious to know what that number is because I think it'd be pretty big. To give you an example, we're 5% down on the overall crypto market at 3 trillion. That's insane. Gold wiped out $2 trillion in 90 minutes. I mean, you couldn't write this sort of stuff. What is insane as well is when you look at the metals markets, you look at gold, you look at silver, copper we'll talk about, and I've been banging on about copper now for 2 weeks as a potential trade. I think that's actually going to start to move with some of this chip stuff that's going on. But gold is back, silver's back. Now, this is definitely going to be part of the whole, we rejected the Senate have rejected the government shutdown, so it does look like we're probably going to shut down unless they can kind of find somewhere through tomorrow. But pretty insane stuff going on in the market. So as always, all I ever ask, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're brand new to the channel as well. Remember, we stream 6 days a week, trying to give you up-to-date market analysis, as well as taking the technicals and all of what's going on as well. So, yeah, hopefully we can kind of make some sense of it all. Hopefully we can kind of get some resolution as to what's going on. And, yeah, if you enjoy the content, like I said, become a subscriber, all that kind of good stuff. And let's get into it. Right, let me put you guys here. TikTok, 1 second. Where are you? There, look. That's where you need to be. Let me just zoom you in on the chart. And let's try and get into it. Let's see what the heck is going on. As always, we welcome everybody tuning in as well. Did gold and silver go up? Maybe the end. I mean, gold and silver came back. I think the gold trade was the reason that we saw the market dump. So we probably need to go into like the 5-minute chart here, which is kind of a bit insane, but we need to go into the 5-minute chart because this gives us a bit more of an idea as to where things are. So let's put a box around the day, okay? So this is kind of going to get it'll just be a bit more like, it'll just make a bit more sense, okay? So we can kind of understand where we are. So the day started here, all right? So this first candle is here to here, all right? So this is so far our day here in the land of cryptocurrency, all right? So let's just put a little. Oh god, that's terrible. Okay. There we go. So this is that day here. This is exactly how the day is traded. This is exactly what's happened with Bitcoin over the course of today. So what was interesting is actually we had a decent rally yesterday. We looked like we were going to move on the daily, and actually everything was kind of fine. The the kind of Asian markets looked okay. So where did it go wrong? This is where we have to kind of analyze where it kind of went wrong. So you can see here that we did get a little bit of a pullback. So we kind of were trading around here around 89,000. We were, there or thereabouts. We got this pullback. Now what you can see here, important on the 5-minute chart, is we're under the 20-day EMA, right? All the way down. So we're significantly below these key support line here on the 20-day EMA, right? So you can see how we went in. So we sort of, if you like, this is kind of Hang Seng and the Japanese stock market. You get India about here somewhere. So this is like 2 a.m. for me. And then you get kind of, European markets are in here. Yeah. So European markets is like this little spike here. All right. So let me just get my little drop. So this is like European markets are here. This is like India and Malaysia and stuff like that. Okay. So you can see here that this is just a normal day, right? We're not really losing anything. Bitcoin's trending. We've lost a little bit here, about 0.5%, something like that, right? Nothing super crazy. Then you get to here, right? This is kind of where it is. So again, For many of you that have been part of this channel for a while, you will obviously know what some of these are. So as you can see here, for me, this is 10 past 2, quarter past, 20 past. So this is 2:30. This bit here, right? This is 2:30 here. So essentially, this is the US stock market opening, okay? Particularly in New York, right? So that's what happened. So what we got here was at 1440 or 1445, 1450, Bitcoin absolutely shit the bed. All right. It absolutely shit the bed. So we went from 87.6 and we basically within the space of an hour went to 84,339. That is an insane move, by the way. Just FYI, that's 3.2K in an hour. Like, that's kind of wild if you think about it. Now, the reason though is a little bit curious. Like, people are about, well, what happened? And for that, we need to go to gold. So you can see here that gold absolutely shit the bed. Totally at exactly the same time. So again, this kind of then does throw some shade at my thesis that, well, the gold trade will be the rotation into the Bitcoin trade, right? That's kind of where you go to. So you can see exactly this lighter blue area is exactly where gold futures open here. And then we obviously saw this massive dumperino here. So you can see how this plays out, all right? So we see here, look, 1450, this exact same time we dumped. Now, this is insane. Like, this is $2 trillion in an hour. This is what this looks like, which just wrecked everything. The problem here is that I don't really know why, because the Senate vote wasn't in. Now, maybe they knew the Senate vote was going to come in. Maybe it was going to be negative. Who knows? But when you look at that, that is a ridiculous, ridiculous sell-off, which then led you to believe this has to be coordinated, right? This has to be a reason. This isn't just random. This can't be in a world where miraculously everyone that's been FOMO buying gold all the way up here, just at the exact moment that the New York Stock Exchange opened, they decide to sell everything, right? And then it all starts to come back in. This has to be a coordinated move. Now, when have we seen coordinated moves happen before? At max fear. So people are fearful that the US government's going to shut down. People are fearful that the markets are going to go to zero. People are fearful that actually the dollar is weakening and everyone's just going to go to war with Iran and Russia and China and God knows what else. So you have max fear in the market. I'm going to show you something that's super interesting in a minute. But again, so we get this massive capitulation in. Now, what's even more interesting is gold is rallying back up above key supports here. And actually, if you go to the daily candles here on gold, it is just still printing and gold still going up, which tells us that, yes, people are still very fearful of the markets. But once again, in my opinion, this was a coordinated move. So as much as a theory would say Bitcoin isn't the conversion from gold, what it tells me is the gold market's not ready to give up yet. Commodities are not ready to give up yet. And actually, I think copper is going to start to push this market even more. With the news that China no longer needs NVIDIA chips and that actually NVIDIA can now sell chips to China, everything dumped. Remember, gold's using chips and all the rest of it. So that's definitely one part where there was a hedged bet that NVIDIA was going to be allowed to produce its H100 chips, I think it is, sell them back to China. This is going to be great. China have gone, nah, you're right. We've built some new chips. We've made some new ones. So like NVIDIA, I mean, what's NVIDIA's stock price, by the way? I haven't seen that. Well, it's marginally up today. Marginally up. Okay. So that I think was definitely part of it, where this whole strategic play on NVIDIA has kind of fallen to pieces. Now, copper, we know that there is a demand like no other for chips at the minute. So we expect them to kind of push a little bit higher. But then it kind of got me thinking about Bitcoin. You're like, okay. So just, and I tweeted this out actually. So just so I'm crystal clear, there is no other reason other than gold dumped that Bitcoin just absolutely lost its mind. But then you start to understand who lost their mind. For example, look at this trader here. So they bought Bitcoin 3 months ago. Look at some of these the money here. Look, they bought $10.3 million worth of BTC 3 months ago. They bought 22.99 million 5 months ago. It's about $32 million of Bitcoin bought at probably somewhere near all-time high 3 months ago and 5 months ago. So 3 months ago puts us at November. 5 months ago puts us in September, right? So you're going to be pretty high. They then sold their entire bag for 16.9 million. They essentially lost like, what did they lose? 16.91 million was the sell. They lost about $8 million on this. So what you got here was not only this enormous tank on gold, which would have definitely wiped some people out. You then got this like super freaked out people that are just selling, you know, Bitcoin and selling crypto like crazy people, right? They're just like, oh my God, I need to get out of this market. I'm getting rugged. It's going to be an absolute freaking disaster. I just realized TikTok, you can't see that. But yeah, essentially they sold huge amounts of BTC, which just compounds the issue. Now, as you can see here on my charts, I did have 2 support lines that I'm like, okay, one of them we've hit perfectly again. So, you know, I did tweet this out again. By the way, if you are not in our Discord, by the way, you should definitely be in there. But, and I actually was looking at this as a potential long trade, which is insane, by the way, especially when you've got a market that looks as crazy as this market does. But this was my first support, historical low here, and actually is a key support line down around 83.5. The lower range here is around 80,300. Now, the other thing to note here, which is, I guess, the delusion in me, and people will say, well, but you're always too bullish. But the small delusion that I have is, if this was a coordinated dump in the market, Gino, thank you so much for the heart me's. If this was a coordinated dump in the market, well, they've done a pretty good job. Now, the debate is what happens. Do we go lower? Now, many people believe we're going to go lower. And many people believe that we could see 75k. The fact we didn't go lower than this point probably tells me that either we've got a little bit longer to wait until we push down to that, or maybe this is just the bottom. One of the things we're looking at, one of the things to stay very close to is this chart here. All right. This chart here is the gold versus BTC ratio against the weight. So we're looking for around 13.7 ounces, which would be the historical move here on this particular chart where this could come down to. Now, it didn't come down to it, but assuming that gold's going to keep going up, this therefore means that BTC value is going to come down. This could be the trigger that historically we've seen the rotation of gold and Bitcoin. Again, this might be different, but when you look at people just dumping huge amounts of Bitcoin, then it all gets wild. Where does it get weirder, though? Here is where it gets weirder. This wasn't just the crypto market. I'm just going to move you back over here, TikTok, right? This wasn't just the crypto market. It wasn't specific to Bitcoin. This was a global market sell-off. So you had this. Look, gold absolutely dumped down. Silver doing the same. The S&P 500 absolutely tanking as well. That wasn't all. Microsoft, bear in mind their earnings wasn't particularly great, but Microsoft lost $430 billion in the last 24 hours as well, right? This is kind of crazy as well. So you have Bitcoin selling off. You have commodities selling off, but then rallying on the back of it. You also have Microsoft absolutely tanking its backside off. The AI bubble is about to burst at about $9 trillion, which is also insane when you think about it. And yeah, the market's just got totally cooked. I mean, look at the Qs, by the way. The Qs got wrecked down to about, well, they wicked all the way down to the 50-day EMA at 617, which is kind of wild. But look at some of these. MSTR, Coinbase, Tesla down 3%. But then you've got Meta printing at 10%. Like, it's just bizarre. It doesn't make any sense. None of this makes any sense today. And again, there's not like a big thing. If Trump had gone into Iran, if it had been impeached, the biggest thing is the fact that the Senate voted to dispel the government shutdown. And it looks more likely, weirdly, if you just look at what they're doing on a government shutdown versus where Polymarket has it. Now, whether they get a resolution tomorrow, Trump said he's going to try and do it, maybe a little bit more bullish for markets, but just doesn't kind of feel right, this market move. And at 5.5%, like, that is such a big amount of money. So I've waffled on for a little bit, but where does that take us, and why do we think then the market's done what it is? My view is that I think we saw a massive crash in commodities. I think there's an element of people taking some profits, but I do think this whole China and chip situation isn't particularly good. And I therefore think that's what's kind of stirred the market. You've then had max fear going, right? Because don't forget, loads of retailers that queued up to buy gold and buy silver are essentially the people that are holding it. But to move something $2 trillion, that's not just random people holding. That's big institutional corporations. Maybe they're firming earnings up. I didn't look at who was going to get earnings next week, but maybe they are. Maybe some banks have got something crazy coming on. Maybe they're just really nervous that the dollar is going to collapse, and actually the banks are now starting to stack cash in order because they think is going to be a big run on the banks. One of the charts we'll look at, which we haven't looked at yet, is the Fed repo debt. That could be an interesting chart to look at because that might give us a bit of a understanding of, are the banks tight on liquidity? If they are, then this could be a reason why they are dumping their gold. If they're not, well, then it's just taking another way that isn't the case. So let me just bring this up. So in fairness, $2.8 billion was the net inflows for banks and the repo debt. Not a crazy number. Michael Salier's new post bought over another Billy Bitcoin. Did he really? Today? I mean, that is buying the dip with the conviction. Axe21 says, help 2-bit. Crackerjack says, silver still looks amazing. Yeah, I mean, commodities have rallied on the back of today, which is kind of wild when you think about it. Anyone buying innovative concepts? See, this is what I've been saying now for the last week. Like, no. Again, I'm just trading the opportunities that we had, which was, this was a nice little long trade setup here. But would you want to get into this at super crazy volatile positions? I'm not sure. But yeah. Tim, what's going on, buddy? I have my thoughts, people, as I see a huge rally coming very, very soon. So I'd rather cut my overcost. I mean, that's not true. Banks and politicians need to go evil people. I mean, that's not true as well. Best ever. I mean, sorry, that is true as well. So yeah, it's wild. Yeah, crypto's no fun anymore now. The big corporations are in. But we've been saying for days that silver and gold were oversold and people were buying the highs. It was inevitable. Big institutions. Yeah, the crazy thing is that it still rallied today, though. That's the crazy thing about gold and silver, which is, again, the point here is that they are probably in a world where they've got more to give. This is going to go higher, I think. How much higher? We talked about this yesterday. Damien, thank you for the heart, me. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, you guys can support if you do want to gift. By the way, you don't have to. But yeah, it's greatly. There is a way of putting it up here, but I don't know how to do it, so I apologize. To this. I don't even know. Oh, don't matter. Doesn't matter. It's all good. Just tap the screen, lock in a few likes. It'll be great. Yeah, Tomato P, you're absolutely right. What's up, people? What's going on, G? Good to see you, man. So yeah. So I think we're definitely in this place right now where gold's going to give a little bit more. I think silver is. Watch out for copper. I think this is a potential catch-up trade on copper with the chip scenario that could play out. But outside of that, it's a bit like, okay, well, what else do we need to look at? I mean, look at this. Gold futures absolutely dumperino, which is kind of wild. And like I said, this is the main reason. The fact that the US Senate decided that, hey, we're not going to support Trumperino, and that they decided that they weren't. Now, what's even more interesting here is they actually voted 45 to 55, which tells Republicans, or some Republicans, actually voted against this as well, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But this is just a catalyst. So this got me thinking a little bit more, and I want to get your views on this. So do post in the chat. Let me know what you think. Where have your heads gone to with all this market? Are you buying? Are you not? I'm curious what you guys think. But the point would be here that you have Microsoft collapsing on the back of really shit earnings. You have gold dumping $2 trillion in literally 90 minutes. You've got the global crypto market basically dumping 6% in the same sort of time. You've got max fear. The government's essentially now on a path to be shutting down. Is it just me, or is it weird that it all happens on the same day? Is it me? I mean, I don't know if it is. Maybe it is me. Maybe I'm looking at this in the completely wrong narrative, but it just feels odd that it's all come on exactly the same day and no one saw it coming. And people say, well, we did see it coming. We've been telling you all the week. You're too bullish all the time. Like, we definitely saw this coming. No, you didn't. Don't tell me you just saw $2 trillion coming out of gold in 24 hours. No way. No one said to me last night, hey, 2bit, you want to be careful. Like, gold might wipe $2 trillion out tomorrow. Nope. All right. Now, what's also interesting to note here, by the way, just as a point, crypto net ETF inflows was positive, 22 million. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up right now. 22 million in. Bitcoin lost about 19.6. Everyone stacked Ethereum at 28.1 million. Solana, XRP both saw net inflows onto ETFs as well. Okay, so ETFs bought on market dumps. Here's something else that I think is worth noting here, by the way. BlackRock also didn't do much for their bags. In fact, they basically bought a little bit of Bitcoin, all right? So nothing super crazy here. BlackRock were kind of jigging some stuff around, moving and grooving around. They didn't see massive outflows from their ETF or their fund as well. They were pretty standard, nothing super crazy. So this ultimately, and maybe people will say, you are literally just, you are sending people to the slaughter. Maybe I am, right? Just doesn't make sense, right? And people go, well, it's the end of the bull market. It's the bear market. It's what happens. This isn't what happens. This is not what happens at bear markets, all right? Yes, we generally see oversold situations that create then bigger sell-offs in the market, but go back to 20. Let's go back. In fact, let's keep it up as a weekly candle. And I want you to just note here how big these two big weekly candles. So this, don't forget, this is going to be, from this 93 range, two big old candles, which is going to be the best part of 11%, right? Go back to 2021, okay, which is like back here somewhere. So back here from 2021. Well, in fairness, actually, if you look at that, I guess 2 weeks in 2021 was 40%. Well, okay, I stand corrected. We're going to zero. Holy crap. Maybe it is the bear market. Oh, we were wrong all the time. Come on, 2bit, sort your life out. 74.34 million XRP ETF volume. Yeah, it's nice. It's manipulated so they can buy the cheapest price possible. I mean, it's hard to deny that, isn't it? It is hard to kind of say, well, especially when you look at the gold market as well, like $2 trillion is like not a small amount. It's not the end of nowhere. Yeah, I mean, it's not the end at all. XRP was $3.60 an hour at 180. That's 50% half price. We've been in the bear market for a while now, which is the other debate here. And I actually have a video coming out later on that's talking about, has the bear market been here? Is it just something we've all missed? And actually, if you think about it, since October the 6th, was that the biggest part of the bear market? Was that just when we started the bear market? Maybe it was. It's kind of wild to think about, but this definitely is an interesting one. I don't foresee us doing anything. I actually think, if anything, we could see another push down here. When the government officially shuts down, we know the market's going to dump. When was the last government shutdown, by the way? I can't remember. I can't remember the last time the government shut down. Anyone know? BTC was at 126.94, yeah. When was it? Will the US government party shut down? Government shut down 2026 update. Oh, yeah. So from October the 1st to November the 12th. Did we hit an all-time high when the government was shut down? From October the 1st, November 12th, 25. Okay, so October the 1st was actually when we first shut down the... Need to put that on the list here, don't we? Where's October the 1st then? October the 1st, there. All right, so weirdly, we actually... Is that true? Better go in, so we shut down my Congress failed passing. Really? Wow. Okay, so this was GOVT shutdown. That's wild. Bro, what's going on with Canton? Can you please check how come it's up 12% when everything is down? Is it really? No way, bro. Is Canton absolutely flying? Is it? Canton. Oh, it is as well. Oh my, what? Bro, Craig. Canton's breaking new all-time highs. I mean, I've no idea is the honest answer. I actually don't have any idea whether it's got some treasuries going on there or something, but hey, that's a trade and a half. See, I told you this. We called this from the, in the Discord. Get access to Discord, by the way. The premium Discord is going to cost about $6 a month. Craig's already made about 300 times that already just by that trade on Canton. We talked about this trade. Literally bullish on that. Hey, great news. 2.5 trillion dropped out of gold and not a dollar flowed into crypto as suspected. I mean, that's true. That is true. We said that at the very start of the stream. That, but I don't think that was a normal dump. I'm curious what your thoughts are. That was not a normal sell-off on gold. Nowhere near. Last 1/3 of the normal 4-year cycle dip to go. Do you think, KT? Maybe. I doubled on Canton 3 a.m. this morning. Nice. Drinks on Craig with Canton trading. Exactly. So yeah, where were we? We were talking about that. So that's fine. We've done that. This is the other thing to think about as well, by the way. And remember, a lot of things are driven by sentiment. And there's a really interesting analogy. And Warren Buffett says it. And I don't like using it too much, but whenever the markets are fearful, you should be greedy. And whenever markets are greedy, you should be fearful, right? It is exactly that right now. Markets are like, Bitcoin's back into the narrative of it's a scam. I keep losing all my money. I'm never investing in it ever again. Like this feels very much like FTX post-collapse. Everyone hates cryptocurrency. I listened to the Agricultural Senate Committee when they were talking about Bitcoin. They were talking about like moderating ATM machines. They were on about not letting China, like all sorts of crazy stuff that was going on in there. But, look at this. Investors pulled more than 700 million from US listed Bitcoin exchange traded funds on Wednesday. Outflows occurred, easing geopolitical concerns. Bitcoin was little changed above 90K. Any recovery in Bitcoin will likely be limited and persistent weakness in US spot demand. Bitcoin's digital gold promises unraveling as traders forego the token for surging metals. Everyone's buying freaking gold. Largest cryptocurrency dropped more than 3.5% on Sunday to a 2026 low. Like, everyone hates crypto right now, right? It hates crypto. Has America lost interest in Trump? And I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not, right? And by the way, I've never been party-sided. I've never been politically sided. I've always just been pump our crypto bags, right? That's kind of where I sit with it. But it does feel a little bit like they are trying to steer a oil tanker. You get the little like link there? I think that's quite clever. That doesn't want to turn. And what do I mean by that? It feels like Trump's ramrodding policies, and he's ramrodding like boosting the economy. Like, if you think about it, like he's going to run on the economy, and even the stuff with like the 2020 elections that he's kind of gone after now, just all feels a little bit crazy, if you ask me. All feels a little bit crazy. In retail management, by the way, which is what I do, it feels a little bit like spraying everywhere. So, because don't forget, his big thing is going to be the economy. Like, that's what he's running on. Like, that is going to be the big narrative, because, you look at And I think, by the way, there's still a lot of favor in some of the stuff he's doing, for example, but tariffs is debatable. And especially when you start to see some of the data right now. Now, ISM will be interesting when that comes out next week, but PPI and CPI, we know has been affected by tariffs. If people feel that way, it's kind of like, well, you could tell us that you're saving, $300 billion on tariffs, but I don't feel it. Remember, sentiment, liquidity, these are all the things that drive markets. And right now, because gold's different, isn't it? If you think about gold and metals, they're different to Bitcoin. They're different to the digital assets because they're a physical thing that I can hold. And in my opinion, as a non-cryptocurrency individual, I'm going to want that. It's a physical asset. It's like buying a car versus buying something of the same value that's online. Like, until it's actually a thing, it doesn't feel like a thing, does it? So maybe, just maybe, I think it feels like there's a little bit of a waning. And I think you could argue that that is seen with the fact that you had 10 Republican senators vote against the bill to keep the government open, which is interesting. Great buying opportunities? Absolutely, I think so. Cole, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in. I don't think everyone hates crypto. I think it's more uncertainty, and maybe everyone is thinking diversification. That's what I feel. I mean, that's right, but maybe. The only argument I would have against that is that you've got a surge in metals right now. Think about it. Gold wiped $2 trillion out and everyone's just bought it back in. No one's buying Bitcoin back right now. No one's going $84,000 is cheap for Bitcoin. Everyone's going, I'm investing in this. Like, think about it. Gold has literally brought back, I mean, it's probably going to turn green on the day, which is almost insane if you think about it. So gold wicked down to $5,094. So it's had $400 bought back in. I bet that's probably, what is that going to be? $1.5 trillion flowed back into the gold market. Like, that's insane. And gold futures are 2.2%. They think gold's going to skyrocket in the next 24 hours, which is kind of wild as well. So, this is the problem. I think people are buying gold. It'd be interesting to see what's going on with gold ETFs as well. That could be a good one. Which is kind of good as well. Two-bit, what do you see in XRP by Monday? It's strictly technical opinion, of course. I mean, right now, weirdly, look at this XRP chart here. It's on our trend line, the historic trend line that we've had. I mean, it's literally perfectly. Look how well it's respected. So you may get, I think tomorrow's going to be the key bit. If you get a little bit of a relief rally and we ease markets and maybe the government doesn't get shut down, we go into a weekend, maybe XRP could rally back up, 190, retest that upper range. But I mean, look at this for XRP. That's actually not bad. 5%. I know it sounds insane when you're saying that, but I said Japan's about to buy a load of Bitcoin. Yeah, I kind of feel like I've seen something about that. I mean, Japan's trying everything they can to stimulate their economy right now. But yeah, XRP, I think, for me, it depends what happens in the next 24 hours from now. So when we stream tomorrow night, come back and ask me that question tomorrow night. Gold added BTC, but gold added, it's insane. It's insane, in fairness. Saeed, what's going on, buddy? Welcome in, Vern. Good to see you, man. Don't forget, Vern and I are going to go live on TikTok tonight as well. We're going to do our Wednesday show tonight, just as a bit of a kind of chill out. So come and hang out with us after this one. It's going to be good. Only so long you can blame someone else for his rate. I mean, that's true. That's true. That's true. Trump's presidency is wild. It'll be surprised if he lasts the full term. It's totally, I mean, Stardog, and that's what it feels like. And by the way, I'm not in the US, so I don't know what it feels like, but yeah, it feels very chaotic at the minute, which, if you think about it, sometimes out of chaos actually comes some of the best things. And, when you look at some of the stuff he's done, then great. I think what you have, though, is very polarizing opinions right now, which is kind of wild. So, yeah, we'll see. $200 billion wiped out of the crypto market today. That is insane. That is insane. Epic Conio, thank you so much for the roses. Appreciate it, my man. Appreciate that. Mouse cycle there, an 8-year bull market, and get a 4-year half cycle low this year, then get in. I mean, again, that's definitely one, Kev, for sure. Definitely one for sure. Okay, let's just rattle a couple of other these bits off that is worth sort of noting. So we've sort of talked about, what's going on. It's a broader market. The problem is people are going back into commodities. They're going back into gold. They're going back into equity markets. What they're not doing is going back into cryptocurrency, right? They're just not. Everyone's like, screw cryptocurrency. It's for noobs, all right? I've been following SPX 6900. I feel like it's the only person investing in it. Did I do a video on it a while back? I don't think so, actually. The trouble you've got is in markets like this, meme coins are just not where you want to be. And I can speak from absolute confidence because I'm in Bonk and Pepe and they are so underwater, it's unbelievable. But at the same time, I do think they'll come back if the market comes with us. So yeah. Do we believe in gold, silver and copper investors will trickle into other rare earths? I mean, uranium's just broken all-time high, I believe, as well. Graphene and I mean, yeah, data center is going to be a big thing. Meta's just announced another massive data center, I believe, hasn't it? The only thing you've got to risk with that, Beebs, is if the AI bubble, which is about $9 trillion, goes pop, then get ready. It's about to all fall to pieces. I sort of spoke very briefly on it yesterday. OpenAI with a $100 billion investment fund for their platform. You've got Meta that's, trying to dump loads of money into it. Is it SoftBank or whatever it was, $30 billion. Like, I mean, the AI bubble is printing. Nvidia just got screwed over by China. So, that's kind of wild if you think about it. If you think about it, is it time to buy Pepe? I mean, Mouse, I'm kind of in a world where I probably will just DCA some Pepe because I think it's probably a sensible idea given where it is in the minute. But whenever you've got market craziness like this, I just don't think it's a good idea to do anything. All I'm doing is literally stacking stablecoin. That's it. So I'm earning yield on some stable coins. I've got things like Solana that's staking, but whatever I can, get, it's like, okay, we're just going to do that. But, so we had this massive sell-off. You've got massive sell-off on Microsoft. I mean, Meta, look, printed 170 billion, which is kind of interesting. Gold took an absolute dumperino, and the US Senate rejects the bill to keep government open. All pretty wild at the same time. Everyone is essentially saying crypto is a scam. So what does this lead us to? It leads us to this, the Consumer Confidence Index, which is literally the lowest it's been since pre-2021. In fact, this is as low as we have ever been since back in 2014. Think about that. Consumer confidence. No one cares. Everyone's like, we're in a recession. It's recession, baby. So yeah, literally people think we're in a recession right now, which is insane. It's insane. This could be a reason why we should be bullish, but cautiously bullish, all right? I've been saying this for the last 2 or 3 weeks now. I am short-term bearish, long-term bullish. This could be another catalyst. Remember, whenever markets are greedy, you should be fearful. And whenever markets are fearful, you should be greedy. In theory, over the course of probably the next 4 weeks, may signal the bottom of this market. This may signal the next big move that's coming into the markets. I did a video earlier on today talking about the dollar and how the dollar's weakening and what that could look like, how this rotates into commodities, and then how it rotates into Bitcoin. When you line all that stuff up, in my opinion anyway, for what it's worth, I think it's coming, right? And I do think it's coming. And I think 2026 will end up being a good year. Now, it might be the back end of the year. It might be the early part, maybe, but there's too many things aligned. However, right now, in the US particularly, people think we're in a recession. Everyone thinks the market's going to zero. And everyone right now is going into what's the best risk-off asset? Gold. What they don't realize, though, is gold is way overpriced. It's way out of its line where it should be in theory. So, again, you're going to get this big spike in gold. The problem, though, as we've seen today, is when gold dumps, it's going to wipe the whole market out as well. So, what you want to see is gold top, ease down, and then rotation as people kind of then sell off, looking for risk on. How do you go to risk on? You need to see cheap rates, which will come with Rick Ryder, who Trump announced later, which I said last night, didn't I? I said, watch out. I think Trump will announce his new Fed chair. We're going to get that next week, which tells me markets are probably very, very unstable, and he's nervous about where markets are. We could get Rick Ryder announced as the new Fed Reserve chair next week. That would absolutely pump markets because they know he's going to drop rates the minute he gets in, which is wild, right? Which is kind of wild when you think about it. I don't agree. I think gold will hold this level for a long time. Well, how long's a long time, though? Like 10 years, 5 years, 6 months? Like, it depends what you think of a long time is. If you said, well, gold's going to hold this, like this, I mean, it's an insane move. Like, there's no way that this can just keep going and keep going. I don't think. Maybe if you get, maybe you can go a little bit higher, but I mean, 6,000, does it go higher than that? I mean, it would be literally the craziest move. The last time we saw gold, it rallied to 2,085. And look how long it took to go at that point. This is way crazier, way, way crazier. Yeah, we'll see. Gold and silver way underpriced for CV19 money printing. Look at gold, Tether, keep banking. I mean, yeah, $1 billion every month on them, but don't forget that they're not buying it for a laugh. They're buying it because they're going to hedge it against their Bitcoin reserves, isn't it? Which is kind of wild. So yeah, so consumer confidence, people think we're in a recession, right? Again, this could be the moment where people should be thinking, hey, what is the best way to deploy my capital if you're still sat on capital? By the way, it's not financial advice. I am not telling you what to do with your money, but whenever people are like genuinely think the markets are going to go to zero, that could be the moment you could look at. This also takes a look at this. Cryptocurrency monthly exchange volume. Actually, we are seeing exchange volume decline. You can see there the light blue being Binance is one of the big ones as well. So actually, this is another indication of whether people care about cryptocurrency. The answer is no. They either don't care or they're either holding on. I think in some instances, you get to a world where you're like, well, I'm just going to hold now. Like, what is the point? what is the point of like selling now? I'm underwater. I might as well cling onto it, which is why we've been saying for the last 3 months, don't be an Arscrackinu. Don't be in some crazy meme coin that's going to be like going to zero. We looked at a couple yesterday where people are just in insane coins that they just shouldn't be, right? And one of the other things to note, by the way, the CBOE Gold Volatility Index just hit the second highest level it's seen. Why? Because it wiped $2 trillion out of its market cap today, which is also crazy. But even gold at the insane market cap it is, which is about $45 trillion, FYI, has a volatility index of about 38, right? So this tells us this has to have been a coordinated or manipulated event. It doesn't make any sense to be any other way. Again, if you think about that as a normal event, it's 3-4 times more in terms of volatility. So that's why you kind of have to be careful of what's going on in terms of some of the gold trades and equally kind of what's out there. You are very much, or we are very much small people in this market. Unfortunately, all right, it's just life. Can't really, we can't kind of move on from it. So Zach Silver needs to get to 12-1 with gold currently 48-1. There you go. G'day, folks from Townsville, Australia. Gold and silver go up, crypto goes down. Gold and silver go down, crypto goes down. Yeah. Anything goes down, crypto goes down. I mean, it's like, oh, the price of sheep have gone down. Oh, Bitcoin lost 3%. Oh, what the hell's going on? Like, yeah, banks stole a lot of dollars. Well, what's interesting with the banks, and we were talking about this before, the banks have been, this is why I think that there will be a rotation. Again, if you haven't watched that video, I definitely recommend it. I put videos out every single day talking about the markets and what they're all about. But you look at what we were talking about at the end of last year. Banks were buying more gold than they've ever bought in history, and they have done now for the last 4 years. There's no surprise then that gold is absolutely skyrocketing right now. Are banks still buying crazy amounts of gold? The answer is no. This is important to think. The banks are not buying the rates they were. So ask yourself why they're not. Because they've got a lot of gold and it's going up in loads of value. Remember, and I always come back to this point, and I don't know what this looks like in the US, but I think it happened with Silvergate Bank and a couple of others. But basically, the UK housing market caused a massive crash in the banks, right? The banks totally shit the bed, lost everything, over-mortgaged people to 125% earnings, like all this crazy stuff, right? The banks were basically going to go bust. What happened? The UK government went, oh, it's fine. Here's some taxpayer money. Everything's fine. Get back to printing money. Get back to making more money off other people's money. Like, you got to understand the banking sector are so intertwined with government politics that there'd be no surprise that they don't know that this is going to happen. Again, I'm going down a tinfoil hat route here, but it is just bizarre that you've seen all this buying from banks on gold. Now, all of a sudden, they have slowed down their gold purchasing. What'll be interesting, whether they're buying equities or treasuries. See if we can find out. What's the point of the cycle where I wish I sold more than half my BTC at 118 and feel stuck now? Yeah, I don't think you're on your own, Stardog, by the way. That's what we always say, isn't it? And look, the thing is, though, you did sell 50%, which is good, right? It's good news. Actually, I'm glad I went out 108 for 50% of my portfolio. Again, should have gone. It does mean at this moment in time, still, I was 2 weeks out from calling the top. 2 weeks out from calling the top. Imagine that. Yeah, I can't really see. I was hoping I could see some actual data here to see what they're doing. So government and corporate bonds are being bought. That's interesting. Is it real estate, technology, and fintech? Banks are buying software companies, e.g. Wealth OS for wealth management and investing in AI and cloud technologies. Interesting. Can we get any bank balance sheets up? Is that a thing we can do? Bank balance sheets and assets. We actually see anything? Bank of England balance sheet in the weekly report. I don't want to see that. Central bank balance sheet on trading. Oh, here we are. We might be able to have a look at some of this stuff. This might be kind of interesting. So let's take a look here. So central bank balance sheet in the United Kingdom, okay, increased to 795,684 GBP million. So what's that? Like $795 billion, a billion pounds. Is that right? 795,000 million. That's billion, isn't it? So bank balance sheet. Okay, here we go. Look, this could be kind of interesting. So that is not what I wanted to open at all, actually. So bank balance sheet is that number there. Central bank balance sheet. This is for the UK. So as of January 2026, it was 795 billion pounds. Foreign exchange reserves 222. Loans to the private sector. See, this is where you get like AI stuff. So they have loaned out can't have a balance sheet of 76 billion. That doesn't make any sense. that would assume that they've loaned to private sector to GBPs in million, 282, 2,828. That's got to be 2.8 trillion pounds, right? Am I making this stuff up? Do I just sound thick here? I might sound thick. Gold and silver price recovers, the crypto goes down. Yeah, exactly, to the moon. It's just a disaster. Get out of cryptocurrency while you can. So essentially, yeah, you've got loads of money lent out on private sector loans, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, right? Loans to private sector. So can we see this specifically as to what that is? Yeah, so look at this. Wow. Okay, this is kind of interesting, actually. This is kind of interesting. So this is let's do the 10-year. Yeah, so right now, you've got the most amount of money lent out to private investors than we have ever seen before in the Bank of England. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. We'll take a look at the US in a minute, but I guess this will probably just be a good picture for what that looks like at a global level as well. Let's look at this in terms of the 10-year for invests in foreign exchanges. Okay, so that's skyrocketing as well. Okay, so you've got the most amount of money in private lending, the most amount of money in foreign exchange reserves. That's kind of crazy if you think about it. Lending rates are super, of course they are. Of course lending rates are down. So lending rates are 4%. This is an inflection of interest rates, which is fine. Interest rate on outstanding mortgages. So record highs, obviously. This is why the banking sector is a scam, by the way. This is why I don't do anything to do with the banks. It's just an absolute scam. So think about this, right? So think about how insane this is. Think about how insane this is. I want to know what the banks are holding on their balance sheet, though. How do I know what they're holding? I want to know what they're holding because okay, I'm gonna theorize something here, and I want you guys to give me your view. We're gonna go deep into this. All right, hold on to your hats because we're gonna go somewhere here. Can I see the assets by name held by the Bank of England? Yeah, did you buy the fear and hold? I mean, that's probably not a bad shout. Like I said, I'm definitely in a world where I'm thinking of it. I just think the market may give up a little bit more, in my opinion. Okay. So let's take a look at this because I want to just give a theory on something. So short-term open market operations, short-term repo debts for the Bank of England, 97,000. So that's 9.7 billion. In terms of that, Bank of England weekly report. Okay, so let's have a look at this. The Bank of England weekly report. I just want to know what they're holding. My theory here is, by the way, just to give you a reason why I'm looking at some of this, is I think that the banks have bought loads of gold, right? Okay, they bought loads of gold, and they're realizing the gains in that gold. And by the way, the banks have used customer money. It's insane when you think about it. The banks will have used customer money to buy that gold. They then increase their value of gold. They don't give it back to the customers because they won't know anything. They might do it in like some sort of weird pension fund or whatever, but essentially they don't give anything on that. They then loan out more than they've ever loaned out at a rate of 4.5 on outstanding mortgages. What was the new mortgage number? Interest rate on new mortgages. So they're loaning out, so 4.25 on existing, 4.25 on new. So they're loaning out then on 4% or 4.2% mortgage rates. Okay, which is actually down. Okay, so they're not screwing everyone totally on that. While investing in foreign exchange reserves. Why? Because the Japanese yen's declining. This is obviously the Bank of England, and it'd be interesting to look at some American banks, actually. So then you've got them declining as well. So what you have here is essentially this enormous friggin', I don't want to say Ponzi scheme, because it's not a Ponzi scheme, but weekly balance outstanding of central bank or foreign currency reserve assets. But I want to know what they have. This doesn't tell me anything. I want to see like specific assets. That's what I want to see. It's not telling me that. The annual report here, so it just tells me what they've got. Because of a large portion of the Bank of England's assets come from asset purchase facility, the Bank of England also publishes quarterly APF. Okay. These include breakdown of asset type and movement over time. Okay, yeah, that's what I want to see then, really. Bank of England, interbank and liquidity financing positions. Weekly balance sheet. Use the bank's interactive database to export specific series of assets. Asset purchase facility repairs on QE holdings. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at this. So this is the Bank of England APF operations. So summary of APF stocks in millions. Gifts for reserves financing, commercial paper, commercial bonds, gift lending arrangement, cash flow arrangement between the APF and quarterly bulletin article May 22. Okay, this doesn't help me at all, actually. Does anyone, I mean, if you guys can find it, I'd be dead curious to see what it says. I was just curious whether it would tell us how much they've got in terms of gold reserves, the asset purchase facility annual report Q2. See, it's not really telling us anything that's not there. Okay. I might try and have a look for tomorrow night. Anyway, the point that I'm trying to make here is that you've got this basically where I'm going to get to is I don't think the banks are making any money now from gold. I think they've bought gold. They're sitting on it as an appreciating asset. And that's probably why you're seeing these dumps in the market with gold as they potentially sell off to then lend more out. Maybe they, I don't know what default swaps would look like for the Bank of England as an example. I don't know if we can see that. Default swaps on the Bank of England. Credit default swaps are Bank of England value in the last 12 months. Yeah, let's do that. So based on market data through 2020 credit default swaps premium, which reflects the cost of insuring against a default on UK sovereign debt, shown following characteristics: elevated risk environment. The Financial Policy Committee, the FPC, noted that risks to financial stability increased during 2025, driven by geopolitical tensions. Makes sense. CDS market growth. European CDS traded notionally, including UK, rose by 28%. As of early 2025, our credit spreads were at their narrowest. In some areas, speculation via the CDS increased, although the overall credit environment remained backed by strong bank capital positions. So, I'm speculating here. By the way, I'm not an economist and I haven't done any economy degrees, so you can't take my word as it. But what is interesting here is, so we had the narrowing of credit spreads. So basically what you've got in terms of interest rates and all the rest of it, you then have the banks buying more gold than they've ever bought in their entire lives because of risk, but then have remained backed by strong bank capital positions. So essentially what they've done is bought a shit ton of gold to then offset risk. And then we wonder why gold's skyrocketing. Tell you, the deeper you go into this markets, here's the crazy thing, right? And I'll just because I think it's interesting. Do you know when we first started this journey for over 4.5 years ago, when I first started coming on here and started talking about, think about where we are now. Think about the first time you ever watched my live stream. And some of you will have been way savvy on what's going on in the markets, by the way. But if I just think of myself, I never fucking clue what a credit default swap was. I had no idea what a bank repo was. I didn't give a flying shit about, gold and everything else. I didn't care. I knew what Ethereum mining was. It's crazy now that we're like, oh, credit default swaps. Oh, yeah, here we go. Oh, what about the CDS increases? I can probably do a bloody economics degree and pass it. Imagine that. Who would have thought that, eh? Crazy times. Crazy times. Okay. So if we then, I did not believe in TA as well. By the way, I still think the way we do our TA analysis is good, though. I still think that TA should give you a recipe, but you have to then look at the instructions of how you bring it together to make a cake. So I think TA is a very important part of putting a bigger picture together, because I think so many people neglect macros to understand it. Because if you looked at the TA, for example, the TA would not have told you this was coming. Not at all, right? Not at all. So I think there's elements where you have to kind of go, all right, what is the technicals telling me? And then what does that look like from a macro? And then you kind of come to a solution, I think. But yeah, the more and more we sort of spend time on here, the more and more we work through it, the more and more we see stuff in the Discord and you look at certain elements. I mean, some of you guys are printing some really interesting charts in the premium Discord, by the way, which you can get if you're on YouTube. Click join, get a $6 a month membership, get you access to our premium Discord. Like I said, you've got all sorts in there. Larry's here. Larry, how are you enjoying the premium Discord? You need to be able to get in there with our trade bots, do some TA. It's going to bring you up trending coins, even DeFi. You want to get involved in that in a safe and secure environment. Our Discord is a place for you. All right. Which is good. How do you do Trump tier? I mean, you don't really. You just kind of, put your finger in the eye and hope for the best. Hope for the best. Don't believe in tier. Come see me again when Bitcoin is 70k. No, I didn't believe in tier. I always thought tier was a bit of nonsense, right? But again, and I'm still not like a complete 100% convert. But for me, tier tells you what might happen, and then you go make a scenario based on that. So for example, you would say on a technical standpoint, actually BTC is going to come down. Here's the lower support. Is this going to then be the bounce? Well, historically, we've seen the bounce to the upside from this position here. Okay. But then when you apply macros and say, well, if the government shuts down, we could see this come to the lower range here, couldn't we? The tier is not telling us that that might happen right now, but, you know, we could see that, I guess, it'd be where I'm at. Do you think the bottom will be 60k? No, I think it's a little bit higher, personally. What have we said? Between 65 and 70, I think we said. Probably about 67.5 is what I think. I'd love to see BTC back at 16k. I definitely would not like to see that, because alts would be a disaster. By the way, I'm down for it once I'm in stablecoin, but yeah, I don't think we see BTC at 16k ever. It'd be crazy if it did, but yeah. Is it possible for BTC to 30k? Of course, it's possible. Yeah, it's definitely possible. Ask yourself, is it possible? Yes. Is it likely to happen? I don't think so. Again, though, you could get crazy shit that could happen. You know, who knows? Like, you know, Trump could come out and go, yeah, we're selling. You know, we're selling $1 billion worth of Bitcoin because we need to fund this. And like the markets would totally nuke on the back of that. So yeah, you got to kind of be mindful that, yeah, we could. I think it's unlikely though. My best analysis using the technicals and just macro stuff tells us it's between 65 and 70k. And FYI, by the way, just flexing a little bit here. I was 2 weeks out from the market cycle top. All right. So I said, what did I say? October. Yeah, I said the first week in October, and technically it was the 10th. In fact, was I a week out? Or did I say the end of October? I can't remember. Maybe I said the end of October. But yeah, if you take it back to, you know, back to the old school, which was essentially where that move came in, then hold on a minute. Then yeah, you get into kind of this range here, which is sort of where I think this lower bit. So 69, and then the 200 EMA here sitting at 67. So you know, my best guess is, you know, we come down to between, well, let's put it on there. I'm down for putting it on there. So it would be 65. That is my guess. The other thing to think about here, by the way, and the reason why I also think that is if you go from historical, you know, historical volatility at this side, where do you see the most touch points? It is around 65,000. So this area here, look. That's where you see that's where we saw probably the biggest bit of consolidation on this way up. So, was he 2 weeks right? Yeah, I think so. I think so. So many people called me, like, so many people said, I mean, I wish I'd listened to myself because I would have sold everything. When did I say? Did I say the end of October? Did I say the 31st of October? So I think I did say the 31st of October. Yeah, which would have been here. So we'd have been at 114k. So I'd have been 2 weeks out, yeah. What's your low estimate on XRP now? Let's take a look at it. Let's take a look. I mean, XRP, like I said here, on the daily candles, is actually holding up pretty well here on this chart. I mean, it's at a low support range right now. Could it come a little bit lower? Yeah. You could see 161 here. Maybe it comes a little bit lower still. Again, I've said this for a while. XRP is slightly different, in my opinion, than many other altcoins because it has a real purpose about it. So yeah, I don't think we can break 80k, really. I mean, that's bullish. I'm down for that. But yeah, I mean, XRP could come lower if you think about it. Do the weekly chart here. What have you got as a consistent level? 138 is a historical low. That's a 200 EMA. So you could see that maybe. I think it's probably unlikely, to be honest. That would be a super macro bearish move. But, you know, my view is if we come down a little bit further, yeah, I mean, even if we got to 141, the 200 EMA wouldn't be crazy, would it? I hope so, Gary, because I'm in Pepe and I'm well underwater as well. XRP is going below $1 USD in this bear market. Do you think? Yeah. What makes you so confident that that would go below $1? That would be my question. I mean, yeah. I mean, if it gets to $1, it's going lower, isn't it? Let's call it that. Let's call it as it. I think if it gets to $1, you're probably talking 90 cents, maybe. Surely we've got some bullish manipulation left in this space. I hope so, the moon. I hope so. By the way, if you haven't already hit the like button on the stream, do so, by the way. Also, if you've got any questions, any thoughts, it's always good to interact with the chat. It's way more fun if you guys are talking as well. So it's good just to have a good narrative and good to kind of have a good view. What are your views on Gala and Grit? So we looked at GRT yesterday. I think it's a disaster and I wouldn't be investing in it. And Gala Games, I was invested in it until they scammed everyone and I sold it and I would never invest in that project ever again. So I'm pretty bearish on those two particular. I think there's way better players out there, way better, that are even newer, have better fundamentals, have core values that sit better. The charts are better. That GRT chart's terrible. We looked at it yesterday. It's absolutely garbage. So I don't know if I'd be going into that. Just my opinion. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just tell you how I feel about it. We got some good news for a White House. Yeah, I mean, the White House meeting will be interesting. Banks, do you see it? Banks and crypto. Oh, I wonder why. I wonder freaking why. When Trump gets them all together and says, right, Jamie, after I'm suing you for like $100 billion, whatever it is, what's your gold reserves at? No, we've got about $8 trillion. Cool. Right. Time to rotate that mother trucker. We're all agreed. Yeah. We're going to go and buy Bitcoin out the back of this meeting. Imagine. Yeah, there's that GRT chart. It's terrible. BMNR. Is that Bitmine? Is that BNMR? That's Bitmine, right? Talk more about XRP. What do you want to know? I mean, I did a video on XRP the other day. I'm repositioning my channel just marginally because I think being tied to a particular coin isn't beneficial longer term. And actually, when I look at loads of people that are putting XRP content out, it's all nonsense at the minute. But yeah, I think XRP is a coin that I believe is different. We looked at this actually. We looked at this. This is the best chart I would give you for XRP, right? If you're bullish on XRP, which I am, by the way, and I do hold a good proportion of XRP. Let me show you a really interesting image. This is something I did, so no one else got it. This is where I get to. It's where I get to when we're putting stuff together here on the channel. So let me show you this. This is a good picture, right? Let me show you this. So if you're bullish on XRP, let me bring you over here, TikTok. So you can see that. All right. So you see this? Can you see that there? Okay. So what this is essentially how the whole XRP Ripple ecosystem is going to work based on what they've bought, right? Based on what they've bought. So they bought Memecoins, Standard Custody, Ripple Prime, or what was Hidden Road. They also bought G Treasury and Rail. Why? This was the question that had me thinking. Why did they buy these coins, these companies? Well, Memecoins is a secure asset custody. They can hold cryptocurrency in a secure environment. G Treasury is corporate treasury solutions. They essentially bring institutional investment into it. Standard Custody is a regulated digital holdings company. So not asset custody, holdings, i.e. a regulated exchange. Ripple Prime is essentially institutional trading. So I want to buy, sell, move, and all the rest of it at a institutional level. And Rail is a stablecoin payment provider. You've got unlocked capital, real-time speed, reduced risk, and transform banking. That is how XRP, in my opinion, and Ripple basically takes over the banking sector. Oh my, that was really close, wasn't it? I'm sorry about that. MB23, what's going on? It is a mess right now. So if you're bullish on XRP, that is definitely the chart you should be looking at. Just the image you should be looking at, by the way, because I think that's super interesting. Super interesting. Casey, you massive legend. What's going on, buddy? All right. The weekly XRP chart is a massive. What is that? Is that a bull? What are the different ranges of EMAs on D chart? Which chart? On the D chart. Which chart you look at? Remember, we also probably at the end of one of the longest months of the year after December. That's true. Brandon, what's going on? What's old, mate? With the high IQ saying today. What will Ripple do next? Well, the banking license, I think, is the unlock for Ripple, in my opinion. I think once they get that signed into law and they get their official license, then I think you're going to see some pretty spicy stuff going on, is my opinion. That's what I think. Even when you look at, Monica Long linking in with the NASDAQ, they're talking about the NASDAQ going 23 hours a day. Where do you think the NASDAQ's going to trade? Like, it's going to be wild, I think. What is Powell? That sunk everything today too a bit? No, it wasn't Powell. It's gold, weirdly. Gold sold off. We just don't know who sold. That's the thing we need to understand today. So for whatever reason, gold absolutely tanked by $2 trillion in 90 minutes, and it took that entire market down. January definitely feels like we've been dragging our feet through the. Yeah, I mean, kind of. We had a reasonable move in January, but yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. H-bar. I mean, where is H-bar at right now? I haven't looked at H-bar for a while. H-bar's at 10 cents. Wow. Wow. Anders broke down from our line. I mean, H bar is pretty bearish right now looking at this, but as in most altcoins. So, you know, where does H bar go? That's what you're here for. You're like, yo, I just found this guy. He sounds bullish. Where do we think H bar goes to and from? Let's go from the lower range here. Where do we get? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Come on, 2-bit, sort your life out. Here, that's where we need to go. I mean, H bar right now is sitting pretty bearish. It's very difficult to find a level, actually. Oh, I'm on the weeklies, that's why. Oh, come on, bro. Sort your life out. Sort your life out. Here we go. Here we go, everybody. Right, now this is way better than we need to get to. So, where do we think H bar can get to? So you're probably talking something around 11 cents. 11 cents. It's below 11 cents. What am I talking about? There's lower range here. So probably just under 10. 10 would be a psychological hold, by the way. So if it can hold that, right, then yeah, you might be in a decent place. But the problem to think here with H-bar is it is literally nuking. It's at lows that we haven't seen since back in 2024 in November. So, you know, be nervous, I think, with H-bar, as I would be with many other altcoins, by the way, because loads of them are, you know, going to Goblin Town. I mean, AVAX may go below $10. Interesting enough, wicked off the bottom of that range, though, which is kind of surprising. But, I mean, look at Pepe, for example. We've just been talking about that. Down 5%. It's at 472. That's a disgrace. Pump might be an interesting one, by the way. Pump could be an interesting trade. We were talking about this the other day. Coming back down, 786 Fibonacci. Potential bounce off that. Could be an interesting one. Think about it. Might be a good one. Some of the XRP YouTube content creators think they are celebrities. I hate to say it. People don't really care. I mean, that's true. Do you know what kind of got me a little bit frustrated with the whole XRP thing? And by the way, I like XRP. I'm bullish on XRP. I hold XRP. Where it got me a little bit frustrated is like people would do a live stream or a video that is like, oh, XRP this, and it just wasn't even about that. It was just nothing. It was just like, what the hell is this? And yeah, it's kind of like. By the way, I still will cover XRP when I need to, but I think right now what's important is broader market structure and broader market analysis versus a specific coin. Because I think, you know, what you definitely don't want to be right now is married to a coin in your portfolio. I think it's a bad idea. If you had 1K, what would you buy today? I'd split that 1K up straight away into 4 different bags of 250, I think, personally, or 3 of 330, right? And then I would split that again into 2 investments. Let's say we go 3 to 330, and I'd split it into 3 100s, and I would set certain buy orders. But what do I think are undervalued is obviously the question you're asking right now. Sui, I think, is undervalued, 131. Now, I do think Sui comes down a little bit further, by the way. And if it loses that support line that we put, which is just trying to get back on, then Sui may come down, you know, further. But I think Sui's undervalued, and I think the ecosystem's really, really good. I'd be setting a buy order of about 105, initial buy order. If it holds on this one, I would definitely take a look at that for sure. I think that, what else do I think is undervalued? I mean, there's an argument for Asta, but lots of people think it's manipulated. So whether I would go into Asta or not, I don't particularly know. I think Chainlink at $11 is probably undervalued as well, personally. And I've been talking about Zcash. I think Zcash has got another run in it. Yeah, I think the whole privacy thing could end up being a big one. So yeah, watch on Zcash. I think that one could be a good one as well. But I would definitely split down my investments and split them over time. I think that's probably a good idea. I'm betting Canton is going to catch up on the dump, take some money off the table, guys. I mean, it's that 8%. It has sold down a little bit. I mean, I like Canton though. I mean, it's bullish, but did you see any of my Plume comments? I did not. I need to, sometimes this doesn't put every comment in. Okay, I think I've changed it. There we go. There we go. Did someone ask for Cardano? George has asked for Cardano. Okay, let's take a look at Cardano. I'm down for that. I'm down for it. And then I'll look at Plume. Plume. Did we look at Plume before, Tim? I watched some YouTube XRP channels, but but it's best to think for yourself. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Gold is up 6%. Yeah, it's insane. Has gold gone green for the day? Yeah. No, not quite. 0.7. So yeah. Intraday, that's an 8% swing, by the way. So if you remember, I talked about Cardano for a while. Now, interestingly enough, look at this. So Cardano, again, this lower range. This could be a nice little long trade here on ADA, especially going into tomorrow. If we get a little bit of momentum, perfectly hit this lower support line at 3265. I mean, I'm not saying I'm good at dip. Holy shit. User 6C said, good time to buy this dip. I mean, a lot of people said, but look at that. Look at this wick here. I mean, that is absolutely perfect. I mean, you couldn't get, I'm not even joking right now. Look at that. Look at that. Come on, people. That is absolutely phenomenal TA on that particular one. Yeah. I mean, where's Cardano going to go? If you break this, you go to Goblin Town. You're going to see 28, maybe even lower at 23 right now. But historically, this has been a really well-respected line. This goes way back as well. Look at this. You can see here that loads of time off this support line. If we break below, it's painful, yeah? If we don't and you get a bounce, then actually, look at this. That was a nice bounce on Cardano. So, we may get a bounce. It depends. And I hate to say it. I hate to say this. And I'm so frustrated that I'm even going to have to say this. If the government shuts down tomorrow, be prepared to go down further. That's my opinion. Now, what's interesting is we have the lowest rating on Polymarket that the government's actually going to shut down. Now, it was down at 50%. We're only at 57%. So maybe they believe, and probably aligned to the stock market, maybe Trump just goes, we cannot afford this to go wrong. But I mean, look at the stock. I mean, the S&P's at negative 0.36. Who cares? Who cares right now? The Russell flat, oils, all right. So, I mean, maybe he just goes, no, screw it. We'll see. Charles Osborne looks like the character from Goblin Town. He does a little bit. Charles thinks February is going to be big for crypto, which is kind of wild if you think about it. But yeah, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'll see. What was that? Okay. With shutdown looming, surely everything will take more. Will tap more. I mean, maybe. And don't forget though, part of today's sell-off may be pricing in the government shutdown. Maybe pricing in the government shutdown. We need to probably take a look at the pre-markets and get a feel for what that could look like. I think that's probably a good idea. Obviously, I know they've only just closed, but because again, don't forget, Asia may come in and dump even more. They may buy. What have we got? So the Dow looks down 100 points. You got the S&P down a bit. Futures on the NASDAQ look terrible. Russell down. So Asia looks set to buy, or certainly will be looking to push up, interestingly enough. Currencies look terrible. Commodities look like they're going to go crazy. US Treasuries look like they may go up. So again, this will be another indicator as to whether people are risk on or risk off. Remember, for Bitcoin, you want risk on. So US Treasuries are still down a little bit, actually. And the yen's up a little bit, Craig, as well. I don't know. I think today is accounting for the government shutdown. Yeah, I mean, possibly, yeah. Don't forget Trump threatening to close the Strait of Hormuz and also pass government. Yeah, I mean, the only thing would be if they do try and go for a government shutdown, they nuke the filibuster. That could be pretty interesting. If it doesn't shut down, will it bounce up? I think so, yeah. I think so. Because again, people are going risk off and they'll go. And the last time we just put it on the charts, the last time we saw a government shutdown, the markets rallied. And we actually then went to a new all-time high. It's not going to happen now, but remember, because once the market shut down, it's like people aren't getting paid. People are then going to potentially look for it. I mean, it could drive a massive sell-off in gold. If you think about it, like if you've been working hard and you've been, all of a sudden you're not going to have that money and you've got loads of gold, you might be tempted to dump your gold. We looked at this the other day. Let me put it here. Bring this up. No, it's not really until next year. Next year? What am I talking about? Next week. Is this what I need to say? Is this the number I'm looking for? Is it me you're looking for? Okay. Right, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Okay. So the TGA. So the liabilities and capital deposits of the FR Bank, the US Treasury General Account. This is essentially where all the money goes. So, I mean, it's still pretty high, which means they've not got loads of liquidity back into the market. So, I mean, it's pretty stacked from a liquidity perspective. So maybe the Fed does just go and buy loads of treasuries and push the markets. It's only partial some more. Yeah. So that's probably why this is probably sat where it is in terms of the TGA not having loads of money flowing out of it, which I guess could be a positive thing. So what was I going to look at? I was going to look at something else and I can't think what it was. Oh, that was what it is. Calendar. Oh, PPI. Holy crap. Yeah, we get PPI tomorrow. Come on, what? Yeah, PPI coming in tomorrow. Man, that's going to be interesting. The Producer Price Index. What are we looking for? Flat or negative? I mean, October was reasonably flat. Yeah, I mean, if we get 0.1, then we might be all right. When 2-bit goes quiet, but the number 2 on the wall lights up, we all know he's squeezed out a cheeky part. It does anything, look, watch. See? That it's just super sensitive. Yeah, we get PPI tomorrow. I totally forgot about that. Bro. I mean, it doesn't look like it's going to be super crazy anyway, so yeah. Is there the possibility that half the government shuts down tomorrow? Why are they about shutting down again? It's all to do with ICE funding, isn't it? That they want to put another $10 billion into ICE funding, which already gets $70 billion. I think is what I've seen anyway. PPI, not good. Well, I don't know what, I mean, expectations on there look fine. What did we get last time? So based on data through late 25, early 26, US Producer Price Index expected to show continued moderate inflationary pressures. Well, so this could be, because I think the US inflation number, albeit not the official number, but what's on Trueflation, came down to like, yeah. So again, this is up from 1.16 yesterday. So it's up 0.07. You know, maybe that's an indicator as well. Monthly PPI for final demand is projected to rise 0.2, consistent with earlier tightening readings. Core PPI is expected to show a similar 0.2 to 0.3 monthly rise, reflecting steady underlying price pressures. Data from late 25 showed that while monthly readings can fluctuate, the annual trend remains elevated, with recent figures hovering around 3%. So, yeah. So, in essence, we're going to get a little bit more of that tomorrow. So we'll see. So yeah, we get January's 2026. Excuse me. Which is, yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Shut down all parts of the circus. And yeah, give me some bullish news too. But Eugene, give me some bullish news. What is some bullish news going on right now? That this all might be a psyop, and actually the biggest trade of your life is about to happen in the next 6 months. Potentially, spiral potentially. If the US government shuts down tomorrow, then yes, we may get further pushes down in the market. Maybe, all right? Maybe. By the way, I didn't say this before, but if you do want to trade with me and take opportunities that you can, Bitunix is the place. We have only a limited few slots left. 50% rebate on your deposit. Like, you kidding me right now? You can't get this with any other YouTuber, not Lark Davis, not Crypto. None of those guys are giving you 50% back on your deposits like I am. $1,000 in on your deposit, get $500 back to trade over there, as well as some trade volume bonuses and everything else. Check it out. It's only available till January 31st. You've literally got 48 hours. If you're interested in no KYC, it's available all over the world. It is a great platform. It's where I've been doing a load of my trading as well. They've got good liquidity, great coins, and leverage if you want to play around with that. Please make sure you know what you're doing. But check it out. I'll link is in the description. It's also in the bio, and it's also in our totally free Discord if you want to get involved in that as well. If you want a little bit more in the Discord, by the way, as we've said before, you've got all access by grabbing a channel membership here on YouTube. It's about $6 a month. Totally, in my opinion, worth it. It gives you access to all of this good stuff. Look, as you can see, some people are already producing the charts that they want to see. Heat maps, as well as some particular coins they all want to run. You can get it all here for $6 a month. Are you kidding me right now? Let's say you're interested. You're like, hey, I want to know what's going on. I want to get the best narrative. I want some TA. I want some TA right now. Okay, what coin do I want it on? I want it on XRP, baby. It's 3 types of a button. And boom, you're going to get some analysis there on XRP. What have you got? Prices below the simple moving average. It's a bearish crossover right now. Strong bearish trend. And the parabolic star is telling you that it's bearish. Okay, I'm not going to look at getting into that. I'm going to sit tight and see what happens. Booyakasha. If you're interested in getting involved in that, highly recommend it. Totally worth it, in my opinion. And yeah, you get all of that. Literally $6 a month. Are you joking me right now? Total value. All right? Total value. All right, good. Good. Dry powder, locked and loaded. Swamp, you know what? That's the best way to be. Canton says, hold my beer. Yeah, I know Canton's having a right run. As is Meta, by the way, who's going absolutely wild. Yeah, Canton's skyrocketing, Craig. Get involved. White House said they will only hold the meeting if they feel it will be worth it, and they will announce Sunday if it's cancelled. Ooh. Interesting. Best trade at the moment is Canton. Yeah, Craig's absolutely nailing that trade. Again, one that we called in the Discord. We actually said, didn't we? On that Discord bit. Oh, there you go. Bullish. Where did we put it in? Trade signals. Was it in trade signals? Yeah, it was here. Look. Zcash setup. Where do we put the Canton trade? I can't remember now. Oh, there we are. Looks like Canton may be at the buy point if this market holds. BTC to recovering while EU buying. Watching this closely for an entry, it may give some more downside. And then Canton was, what price was Canton at that point? 12 cents, bro. 12 cents. If you'd have gotten that, you'd have made an absolute killing. 12 cents was like here. Oh, I mean, you're kidding me right now. Imagine you just spent $6 on the premium Discord. You just made yourself a 45% return on that trade. $6? Are you joking me right now? Dead easy. I like how the TA says RSI and the CC are overbought, but everything else is green and bullish. Yeah. Oh dear. Like I said, we've got a couple of other ones. I'm trying to get an airdrop bot in there, but it's really hard at the minute as well. It's really hard to try and get this airdrop bot working, but I feel like airdrops are just a bit of a thing of the past right now. But anyway, right, I'm going to kick some people out of this because they haven't managed to verify. And if you can't verify, guess what happens? You get yeeted. There you go. Who was that put a message in there, by the way? Oscar. Oscar's already in. Anyway, XRP moving went up 0.003. Let's go. I got in at 13.5. My average buy price is 15.06. Oh, nice. Nice, mate. It's nearly 11%. It's going to break a new all-time high. I don't count this as a move, by the way, but yeah, it looks pretty bullish. Looks pretty bullish. So, yeah, definitely worthwhile in my opinion. Like I said, we try and keep you up to date on all the things going on. Don't forget, you get access to all my videos in there. We do have 2 full trade guides as well in there, by the way. So if you are interested, learn to trade. We have a full trading indicators guide and a full trading strategies guide as well. So, you know, it's definitely worth it. I mean, I think it's the best value Discord out there right now. And you get it by becoming a channel member on YouTube for like, well, how much is a channel membership? Like $6 or $7, something like that? Wild. It's wild, if you ask me. Coinbase and Kraken, yeah. Good news, soon be Christmas. I mean, that's also true as well. That is also true. Yeah, I've set up half a dozen sell orders all the way up to $1.01. There you go. Craig knows what's up. Do you think that'll be worth it? I want to do like a trading strategies for grid bots because I think grid bots are funny. Jay Sounds, I would wait. Personally, I'm not buying anything right now. I'm waiting to see what happens. Too much volatility, too much uncertainty, and I'm not about it. I'll sit tight and wait and see what happens in the markets, in my opinion. So I think given where we are, I mean, Bitcoin looks like it's holding around 84.5K, which still isn't the worst thing in the world, but yeah, I'll see what happens on that. I mean, what's good here is we did get a really strong bounce off this lower range, which is kind of positive. You want to see Asia sort of buy in, get us back up to probably around 85.5K would be a decent move. Be a decent move. I heard you're doing an Xmas calendar special this year for the channel members. Yeah, 100%. It's with my Bitcoin logos. Well, I don't even know where I put them actually. Where are they? Maybe I could do this though. Oh yeah, we did do. Don't forget, we did do a giveaway, didn't we, for channel members as well? We did an $80 Elapal wallet. Tim, have you had that delivered yet? Yes, we can do this. Look, we can do different. So if you know, if Bitcoin's like super bearish, look, we can be like, oh, Bitcoin is super bearish. It's the bronze. If it's kind of like okay, we can go, well, it's silver. Look, it's kind of silver. And then when Bitcoin's at brand new all-time highs, it's all about the Bitcoin. It's all about the gold Bitcoin. Probably should keep them out. Actually, they're kind of cool. So yeah, but we did do that as well. Frankie, what's going on? Here, Charles Hoskins says February is going to be. Yeah, I said that earlier on. Yeah. Banks hiring for crypto positions. Yeah, well, it was it Morgan Stanley? I think it was. So she used to be the head of emerging markets in there. But yeah, I mean, technically, if you argue what we just discussed about what banks are doing, what they're holding, rotation potentially out of gold, they've already got all their gold stacked up, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like maybe that plays out. You know, that could absolutely be a thing. So maybe even just training with bots, full stop for me. Grid bots are fine in really, really, really stable markets. So for example, a grid bot, if you were trading this, and essentially understand what they do, you set them to buy at certain levels and you set them to sell. So, for example, if this was a grid bot here, it would be selling, 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 buying, 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 selling, 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 selling. So they can work. The problem when you get something like this is you can get liquidated on them and you can lose all your money. So they are good at DCAing if you can't be bothered to set certain price up because they'll just DCA on the dips. But yeah, maybe we do that. So Mexi do them. I don't think Bitunix do. Binance does. I don't think Coinbase does either. But yeah, we'll maybe write that guide for in there as well, which could be good news as well. So right, good. Let me just bring this up. Let me see if there's anything good coming out. Okay, we know that. Today, U.S. Senate Agriculture Committee advanced the crypto market structure bill. That was good, by the way. There was loads of debate by it. Just in El Salvador, bought $50 million worth of gold. Maybe El Salvador selling their Bitcoin. What the hell? Strong consumer protection, segregated funds, etc. U.S. aggregate investable funds as a percentage of total U.S. equity market caps are down to a record low of negative 25%. The ratio is more than half since 2020. The percentage is even lower than the 2000 dot-com bubble. There is no more money left on the sides. That's kind of interesting, isn't it? That is kind of interesting. US aggregate investable funds. People have got no money left. They're all in. Send us to new all-time highs. Is the crypto bull ended? I mean, kind of, yeah. I think it's nearer to ended than it is to being bullish, if that makes sense. But doesn't mean that we can't see a move. You have to wait and see. Grid bots are fine along as markets go sideways. Yeah, exactly, Curtis. Yeah, they're good. They're good DCA for spot positions. Agree. Sit back because all my bags are full. Sick of all this winning. Yeah, that's to the moon. It's hard. Are you sick of winning? Oh no, Mr. Trump! I'm so annoyed at winning. It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, we should be winning in fairness, but hey, the problem you've got is whenever you get really bad volatile markets. I mean, look at this right now. You can see it here that you sort of get some momentum and then people just nuke it because they're like, right, I'm out. I've made a bit of money. I'm out. I mean, look, uptrend is kind of there, but I mean, we're clinging on to the smallest of straws here, aren't we? Really clinging on to anything, in my opinion. Anyway. I mean, the Charles Hoskinson could be interesting to see how that plays out. I mean, maybe it's a big thing. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'd be curious to see. Be curious to see. Good. All right. Well, is Vern, are you still in the chat or did you message me actually? Hold on a minute. Did Vern message me? Yes. Oh, Vern got stuck in traffic again. Still an hour and some change out. So, man, just have it for when I actually can make it home. All right, cool. That works for me. So we were going to go. I mean, I'll stick on. I'll stick live for another like 15 minutes. I mean, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Especially when the market looks like this. So we'll see kind of where this all plays out. But I've not seen any news coming in, by the way. Government shutdown, 50%. Okay, this is coming down again. I mean, why would it? I mean, I know this is based on what people actually believe. So this isn't really any statistical view. These are just what people are hedging their money against, aren't they? So people are definitely going for, they think the government's going to not shut down. The value of our bags is slowly bleeding, but it will bounce back. Yeah, I think, I mean, to the moon, it depends on what you're in, doesn't it? But I mean, if you're in top tier coins, then you're going to be fine. Trump is meant to be speaking now, making an announcement. Oh, really? Okay, let's see if we can find that then. Where would he be speaking? So I can't see the White House. The White House isn't doing anything. Let's go to YouTube and see. Yeah, Oval Office announcement. All right, this surely it's got. Well, what if that is the case? Then we need to watch that. Have a look. White House. I mean, I don't see anything on here. Lives. Stream 4 hours ago. President participates in a cabinet meeting. Where have you seen that? Has anyone else seen that? The longer you stay on, the less likely will be Bitcoin. The longer you stay on, the less likely Bitcoin will dump. I mean, do you think maybe? I don't see a stream for the White House at this moment in time. YouTube it live, meant to be at 4:30 Eastern. Fox News reporting it. I'm literally on YouTube right now, and I don't see it. So Trump, Elio Trades is live. He is, I think some flies. He's talking about that. So there's nothing on the White House that's live. Fox News. We can go. I mean, in fairness, the stream the other night they didn't have it on. Let's go to Fox News. Let's see. Minnesota governor to end political career amid fraud scandal and party criticization. Okay. on air now. The 5. Do we care about the 5? Probably not. Evening with, who's that? Yeah, so I don't see it at the minute. Was it cancelled? Anyone know if it's cancelled? Whatever the White House says, the fake news will twist it into a bearish story. I can't keep buying the dip. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Fox Business. Is there anything on Fox Business right now? Apple CEO calls for new sales jump. All right, fine. Don't listen to the Schumer open border crowd. Pan American Silver. CEO says silver production will increase substantially. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything right now. I am not seeing anything for a Trump live. Unless someone tells me otherwise, I am not seeing anything. Tomorrow. Right, okay, fine. That'll be why I'm not seeing anything then if it's tomorrow. So Justin, Senate Republicans just emerged from a closed door meeting to vote government shutdown, optimistic about a deal with Dems. Okay, so the deal may involve passing 5 or 6 funding bills, short-term DHS funding while negotiating. Somebody can continue hold the line. Okay, so yeah, so there's definitely an argument to say that they don't want to shut it down. So Justin, Senate Republicans emerged from a closed door meeting of a government shutdown, optimistic about a deal with the Dems. Okay, so maybe we do avert it. Maybe I was right all along. Maybe I was right. Maybe 2-bit was right again. Why am I not subscribed to this channel? I don't know. Click the button. It seems October 10th scared away. Yeah, I think something broke on October 10th. I messaged Foz, actually. I think it was Foz. I think something broke on October 10th. I bought the dip of my dip, and then it dipped again. Yeah. Paper hands ETFs ain't helping. I mean, they're out. They've been a net inflow today. ETFs have actually bought today, which is wild. But right side broadcasting, is that like an official thing? Everyone's telling me it's tomorrow, though. But they are live right now. Live President Trump makes an announcement of the old office. Oh, okay. 9,500 people watching. Okay, so he hasn't done anything yet. Or is that POTUS expected to make an announcement? All right, we'll stick for 10 minutes and see. Microsoft dumpers had the ripple effect. Well, Microsoft, the S&P 500, gold, 2 trillion. So, okay, let's just listen into this really quickly.
Network you guys can hear on our social platforms. We uploaded that. So a quick shout out to the production crew here at Right Side, getting all the different video elements, the interviews, all the things. Can't do it without them. So thank you guys so much for all your assistance today and every day. 5:21 Eastern, Thursday, January 20.
Do we think he's going to get a speech or not?
Now, earlier today, of course, the cabinet meeting. We know that it wasn't one of those really long cabinet meetings like we've seen over the past
we're not going to listen to this guy talk about it all. Maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. We'll see. We will see. All right, we'll give it 10 minutes. October 10th is the main candle to come back to. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Just in CryptoZar, David Sachs says the US is one step closer to signing off the bill. So this was in the thing, wasn't it? This is just him talking to them today. If the dollar value decreases because of the shutdown, gold will go up. Yeah, well, hopefully everything goes up. I mean, the dollar weakening is generally a good thing, but yeah, 96. Historically, by the way, whenever the dollar's gone below 96, the following move has generally been a really good one for Bitcoin and the crypto assets. I'm not saying that's going to happen again, but generally that's kind of what we've seen prior. So, that may be a thing, may not be a thing. We'll have to see. Evan, don't tell too bad. I'm going off script. Chase Stream Elements, you massive chopper. He's probably busy with tomorrow's decision. Well, maybe he waits to see what PPI comes in, waits to see what happens in the stock market. If the stock market's then terrible, he's going to announce Rick Ryder as the new Fed chair, and everything will be like, oh my God, quick, get into risk assets. It's going to be crazy. Money's going to be super cheap and everyone's going to go crazy. It's going to be amazing. Maybe that's the big catch-up trade that we're all waiting for. Maybe. Let's hope so, eh? Let's hope so. Phil, what's going on? Philip Toussaint, what's going on, buddy? Market's cooked. Yeah, market's wild right now. Totally wild. Good. All right. What time are we on? We are on 25 past 10 for me. We've been live now an hour and 30 minutes. So I'm going to get up and get out of here. Don't forget, if you're just joining the live stream, I go live at 4 p.m. Eastern every single day. 9 p.m. UK time. Come and join us. We'd love to have you here. Don't forget, we have a free Discord you can get involved in and catch all of my cryptocurrency updates every single day. We're putting content out here, keeping you guys dialed in to this market. So that simple button, click subscribe, click follow here on TikTok as well. We'd appreciate that. And like I said, we're building, I think, one of the best communities ever. And I believe this channel at some point is going to go kaboom. And we're going to go to the moon. Hopefully. Bro, is there a possibility that crypto ETFs can get tokenized just like blocks and crypto ETF becomes available for trading staking on crypto exchanges? Any inputs? What do you think? I don't think, not with ETFs. I don't think so. But maybe the way that ETFs can operate with staking could be a thing. Are you in a world where you would like to buy some ETFs? I think you could do it with just a couple of broker dealers, but I'm not super sure on that. But I don't think they tokenize ETFs. I think you'll have ETFs that have tokenized assets within them, but ETFs are essentially slightly different. But anyway, as always, thank you so much. By the way, appreciate you guys tuning in. A good stream tonight. So once again, thank you, everybody. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a comment down below. Don't forget to check all those links in the description. Become a channel member as well if you want access to our premium Discord, or just get in the free one. Totally worth it. And until then, I will catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a great day. See you soon. Bye-bye.